Okay.
My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm the host of Realty Coffee Talk, the connectivity conference for fellow Real Estate Institute of Canada and all REIC members. On behalf of Realty Coffee Talk and REIC, we welcome MP Iqra Khalid from Mississauga Erin Mills. I'm going to ask our president of REIC Toronto Chapter, Fabio, to welcome MP Iqra Khalid. Fabio.
Ms. Khalid, oh, finally I can see you all. How do you do? Thank you so much for joining this panel. RESC is an important contributor to the real
Hello.
estate profession. FRIs are more or less jacks of all trade, but they are highly educated real estate professionals, and I'm so glad that we were able to share this moment with you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, MP Iqra Khalid is a brilliant, visionary, very passionate, compassionate personality. As a human being, also a member of Parliament and our voice in House of Commons. And she has so many programs that she participates in councils and meeting and engaging constituents in her riding and across Canada. So I'm going to welcome to MP Iqra Khalid. Can you share us with about your national housing affordability and other program activities? Just to give you a little brief, there are about 550 FRIs across Canada out of 129,000. So these are premier leader and mentor in real estate, and I happen to be one of them. So please welcome and share your thought with our forum. More people will join as they come along. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tahir Bhai. And I call Tahir Bhai meaning brother. And it's a sign of respect because I've known Tahir Bhai for a number of years now, and he has been a mentor to me in just understanding community and especially housing issues as we move forward on what I think is going to be one of the biggest challenges for our government and for our country in the foreseeable future, and that is affordable housing. As you know, housing is a key piece to how our country is growing, as we're trying to boost our economy, as we're trying to make sure that everybody has a place to live, as we're trying to ensure that homelessness is no longer a reality in Canada, as we're trying to make sure that single mothers or those that are fleeing violence have that safe place to go, as we're looking to make sure that seniors don't have to give up their homes because of financial constraints or have at least a safe place to go as newcomers come into our country, again, being the biggest part of our labor market growth, we want to make sure that they're not living in situations that are just not healthy. And so I think, coupling all of those social issues with what is the housing market now, and especially in a city like Mississauga where I live, I think the role that all of you play is a very key role in terms of building what our housing strategy should look like in the coming years and months. We have, as a Liberal government, put in the first ever national housing strategy, providing for those people that are having challenges. We put in a stress test to ensure that people are not um, overextending themselves in the search for housing, but at the same time we want to make sure that everybody who should be be able to have a home, whether it's on a rental basis or it's purchasing a new home as a young family. There's a lot of work to do, and with the housing market as it is right now, I really think that your input and your feedback will be vital in how we move forward with this housing. In over the summer, we invested $650 million into Peel region to build affordable housing units. We also have the rapid housing initiatives across the country from coast to coast to coast. And those are initiatives that we've put together and implemented based on the consultations that we've had with stakeholders. And so what your opinions would be, what your say would be, really would form part of what our future of housing looks like. It is, some would say, the safest investment to make, and others would say the hardest investment to make. And I think you, as leaders in this area, have a lot to contribute in terms of how we can, as a government, ensure that Canadians have the ability and the mobility across the country. The last year, I think, changed the housing scene in a very indirect way, where people no longer feel tied to a certain city because of their employment. As more and more people work from home, as more and more people have more flexible jobs, it means that there's really that opportunity for growth across the country. People are living where they probably would never have lived before because of their employment constraints or their economic constraints. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to explore, and any feedback that you can give would only benefit how Canadians are living, and how we can, as a government, ensure that this whole sector is better supported, while also keeping in mind the challenges that individual Canadians are having with respect to affordable housing. So I just want to say thank you to Tahir Bhai, to Ken, to Fabio, to Barbara, for including me in this conversation today. I skipped out on a on a national caucus meeting just so I could come in and be part of this today, and I will have to get back to that meeting in the next 10 minutes. But I'm really looking forward to staying in touch with you and to engaging on this very, very important issue going forward. Thanks again, Tahir Bhai, for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. Can you tell us a total allocation or funds that they have program for overall Canadian economy and affordable housing overall in Canada? Because we have members across Canada, and what is the number of years program, for example?
So, with respect to the national housing strategy, is $10 billion over a span of 10 years, I believe, to provide that extra support to build those housing units. We are working with the provinces and territories and municipalities also to ensure that that they have that support. So, as I mentioned earlier, $650 million to Peel, specifically the Peel region, to build those affordable housing units, and those kind of investments have been made across the country in those needs-based areas. And as I'm sure you're aware, the wait list for subsidized housing, for example, is it's about 10 years long in Peel region.
Yeah.
So we do need to have more stock of housing, and I think that would really make housing more affordable in areas like Peel, and perhaps the surrounding areas as well.
Is there any policy, national policy, to expedite the approval process Canada-wide, so we have a more supply versus the shortage we are facing right now? More immigrants are coming, I believe 400,000 next 1 year, and it's going to complicate more housing strategy, affordability for Canadians. So is there any national policy on that?
Absolutely. And it goes project by project based on what the availability of all of our various programs are. So I really encourage you to reach out to your local members of parliament on specific projects that you have, to seek that expedition, to seek support. That's what members of parliament do all day, every day, is to support such projects, obviously to ensure the safety and well-being of Canadians.
Fabio, you have any question?
Well, I agree that, I mean, it's a matter of supply and demand. So I agree that increasing the supply, an affordable supply, will take care of the demand, and therefore it will make a lower price and make it more affordable. But a couple of things that happen with housing is, at least the end product, is that one of them, we have a very high cost land transfer tax. When you compare it to other areas in North America, we're way up there. I think we're in the top 10%. And secondly, is if we want to subsidize housing, one of the best ways is to reduce costs, such as perhaps provide some break or in the cost of materials. There are certain taxes that are associated with lumber, steel, and brickwork. I mean, right now, if you go to a lumber yard, they tell you to come back next month. We've just finished doing some work on a couple of buildings, and my cost of steel has gone up by 35%. I mean, if we can address those things and make housing more affordable, then we can say, okay, your income is within this level, therefore, we can make these accommodations available to you. I think the federal government has to start with considering some subsidy to both the taxes and to the construction industry. That's where we kind of hit a knot. If we can supply the housing that's needed, then we're going to be able to lower the price and the affordability.
The other thing is, Iqra Khalid, is that we have a influx of student program, and they are eating up rental facilities because there are a lot of students who come here. They eventually seek permanent residence. And another point that in my last Realty Coffee Talk show, I mentioned about there are 60,000 Canadian non-residents living in Hong Kong. They will be coming back. This is going to create a more demand for housing. This was in my last presentation. So coupled with immigration, coupled with this non-resident returning to Canada and student. So what do you think that the federal, provincial, or municipal should be doing this to increase that supply? Otherwise, affordability will be a big challenge, and election is coming next year. So we want to make sure that our good MPs remain there, but want to make sure something is happening or being addressed.
Those are really great points, Fabio and Tahir Bhai. On the land transfer tax, on the building materials, obviously we saw the challenges with our trade across the border, south of the border, especially with aluminum and steel, softwood lumber. And then just the lack of supply over this past year with so many people doing renovations, et cetera, at home, and just not having that supply within our country, driving up those prices. So you're absolutely right. Those are things that we need to work on and to consider. I think the potential subsidy for the land transfer tax is something that I will definitely be talking about to the minister responsible on this file. With respect to the student housing piece and just the influx of immigrants and people settling into Canada, those students specifically are very region focused. So you'll see that where Brampton or Peel may have that problem, there are other parts of the country that don't have that problem at all. In fact, the Atlantic provinces are screaming to have more people move into the Atlantic provinces. So I think where while we're addressing all of these issues directly, there also needs to be a more indirect, perhaps, way to expand potential economic opportunity or to expand where the populations settle across our country. And some of that has to do with not only with economic opportunities available in those areas, but also with respect to just cultural sensitivity. Somebody who is coming in from Dubai and has no friends or family is going to have a hard time moving into an area like the Yukon, for example. So I think there are a lot of multifaceted opportunities here that we can expand on, that we can grow, and that really focus on. And the center of that being that economic opportunity to grow and to expand beyond what our what our main hubs are, which would be Ontario, Southern Ontario, and perhaps Vancouver. So and just going broad-based. Canada is a very vast, very beautiful country, a lot of which is not inhabited. So we do need to find ways to grow those cities. We need to find ways to have that foundational infrastructure, broadband being a very, very big component of that infrastructure investment, which we have been making over the past number of years to ensure that the country does have access to broadband. Building something as simple as roads costs a lot of money and has a really, really slow return in that investment. But those are investments that we do need to make, because the long-term implications, as Tahir you said, as economic immigrants do move into the country, we do need to expand our city centers, and we do need to expand and build and increase that stock, not necessarily where the current centers are, but to build new centers. And for that, absolutely, I think we need to have federal support. We need to have provincial support and territorial. And also municipal, and then most importantly, we need to have the support of you to ensure that that investment and that growth is happening in those areas.
MP Iqra Khalid, one thing come to my mind is transportation. And we need to see if there is any national strategy to building a fast train on 401 across like Ontario, for example, where we will allow more connectivity between the big financial hub like Toronto, Mississauga, to other small cities. So we move the population towards smaller town and have a development growth, because affordability is a big issue in real estate right now. And we have lots of clients that are moving away from the big city. So would there be any national strategy in terms of developing the infrastructure for a fast train program in Canada? Particularly, we are in Ontario, so our focus is Ontario. But other part of the world, do you think something that you can look into that, or something that is planning?
Absolutely. I think, like I said earlier, having just like a road going into areas where right now only chartered planes go into would be a big contributor to expanding that area. The challenges, some of which we face, one obviously is the amount of dollars it takes to build roads, is significant compared to what the quick return on that would be. And the second piece of it is the environmental impact as well. And that's one thing that Canadians have told me again and again and again, is that whatever construction we do, whatever change we make to modernizing areas, to developing areas, we have to put that environmental piece front and center and ensure that we're not hurting our environment, that we're keeping in mind that we are moving towards lowering our emissions, that we shouldn't have as many trucks on the road, that we do need to find innovative ways of transportation. And I know in Mississauga, for example, Mississauga and Brampton, we have the LRT project that's moving along, hopefully to take some cars off the road. But it's one thing to just build and to just add on lanes to the 401 and going to different parts of the country or the province, and just knowing with the knowledge that when you increase a lane, you're not really speeding up the transportation process. You're just adding to the carbon emissions in the country. So finding those innovative ways, I think, is a challenge, and that innovation has to be led by the industry leaders, has to be led by people like yourselves who are in business, who come up with those really great ideas. And there's so much seed funding that is available from the federal government that provides business and entrepreneurs with the opportunity to do that research. And so it's really a partnership. I think everything has to be economically driven in order for it to make sense. But as we move forward towards that, we need to take into account all of the social and the economic and the environmental factors as we continue to grow, and it has to be sustainable.
Also, yeah, go ahead, Fabio.
I am so glad to hear what you're saying. I have sat on the 401 going to Montreal, going to Ottawa, stuck in traffic with trucks, and then I look to my right or left and I see a railroad that is not being used at all. If we're talking about infrastructure, I don't think we're utilizing our existing infrastructure to the best of our abilities. Yes, let's build road, that's fine, but there's something insofar as where we have a density and we are constantly adding more diesel trucks Add another lane, you're going to add another 1,000 trucks a day. I mean, I think the 401 in the GTA carries something like 130, 140,000 vehicles a day. That's 1,000, 100 and some odd thousand vehicles a day. You're bang on. I agree with you. I think we have to find a way to not only increase our connectivity by road, but we have learned not to use the highway as much. I don't think I've driven it nearly as many kilometers as I have in the past year. So I'm so glad to hear that you are conscious about the carbon imprint, because we do need, we need new roads for sure, but I think we need to address the traffic issue and what we're doing to our environment. I'm so glad to have heard what you said.
Thank you, Fabio. Ken, you have any question for MP Iqra Khalid?
No, it's just, it's refreshing to have someone like you representing us, and, with everything that you're working towards, we really appreciate all the support, and we appreciate you, joining us today. So thank you.
Mr. Roy, you join us. Will you want to ask any questions? You can open your video because she has to leave very soon. Hello. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. It's good to hear that you are looking into infrastructure. I think having that fast train and utilizing existing infrastructure and looking for ways to upgrade that infrastructure would be beneficial for many communities across the GTA for sure, but across Ontario, but also north and south. I think there has to be something going north and south, which is similar to an east-west community train and other types of, I guess, transportation. I think people are tired of highways and being stuck in them, and having an extended commute that causes more and more stress on and mental health issues. Because yes, absolutely, we're looking at transportation infrastructure and boosting the economy and with that type of economics, but there's also the other side of it, and that is the mental health, the stress, and the costs relating to that, because there is cost relating to all that side of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roy. Gerald, you got 1 minute. You want to introduce yourself. MP Iqra Khalid from Mississauga-Erin Mills. He's joining us from Alberta.
Thank you, Tahir. Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I had a previous commitment I had to deal with. Anyways, I'm Gerald Tosh to work with Century 21 Urban Realty in Edmonton. I do mostly commercial and then residential as well. Bit of both. Like mostly 2/3 commercial, 1/3 residential, and hello.
Thank you very much. I think MP Iqra Khalid has to leave. I will request to MP Iqra Khalid that if REIC was established in 1955, and Fellow of Real Estate is the highest designation in real estate across Canada, and we have 8 chapters across Canada. We have a talent in very diverse designation program. And anytime that a federal government needs any kind of a guidance and some kind of consultation, they should reach out to Real Estate Institute of Canada. Our head office in Toronto. You can reach me or any one of us, and we can be part of giving a feedback to the federal government in terms of housing policy and procedures. And so we, on behalf of Realty Coffee Talk, myself as a host, and Real Estate Institute of Canada, we thank you very much for joining, and we look forward for more opportunity. I remember you have joined Realty Coffee Talk a couple of years ago. We got some citation. We talked about federal funding. Remember that?
I do. I remember every single opportunity I've had with Realty Community Talk. I really appreciate all of your efforts, Tahir, in everything that you do to raise that awareness. I think it's important that people know and understand that you all are leaders in your industry and you have an expertise that definitely should be leveraged by our federal government in terms of how we move forward. So anything that you can provide me in terms of consultations, I would be more than happy to listen to your ideas.
Fabio, last word from you as the president of REIC Toronto Chapter.
Thank you very much for joining us. It was really good to hear some of your opinions, and I'm reassured insofar as what we just spoke of. Iqra, a pleasure. If any of our professional can help at all, don't hesitate to call us.
I will definitely not be hesitating at all to call you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, friends, I'm going to do our presentation now of what's going on in the marketplace. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and then you feel free to provide comment and feedback from your side. So I'm going to do a small regular presentation that I do. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go back, slide beginning. So first of all, I welcome you all. This is a connectivity conference for FRI and all members of REIC across Canada. The goal of Realty Coffee Talk is to create connectivity, increase awareness, building consumer confidence in real estate, and promote good ethics and business practices. The objectives are get to know each other. I think majority of us know because we have attended various conferences, and we want to build relationship because I recently referred a client to somebody in Nova Scotia. That's why, because when we connect with each other, we get to know each other, we are able to make referral, and then we do business. The word is in your hands. The FRI is a powerful designation that has network of real estate professionals across Canada, only available to REIC members since 1955. My goal is to ignite the spirit of connectivity and cooperation with FRI Connectivity Network. This includes all other professions because CPM, other designation we have, we are able to refer business to each other. So we have a more confidence when we're talking to and referring our clients to a fellow FRI because we follow the highest national professional standard and ethical practices as a FRI designee. So this is a news I want to show you. I always keep eye on what's going on. There are 128,000 realtors in Canada in May 19, which I reported. 568 FRIs, and there are 310 FRI out of 90,000 FRIs in. Now you can see in June 23rd, we have a reduction. We have less FRIs, 510, and there are FRI E and A. They're candidate or registered. They're 546 total. So I can see a decline from what we have in May. And also in the province of Ontario, we have 90,000 realtors and 296 FRIs. There are 12 FRI and FRI-A. So we have lost 2 FRIs in June this month. So I'm going to give you the update so you know what's going on. This is as of today from REIC National Office. I searched the data. So here's a statistic. You can see that the average price is going up and up. So 416 is 1.7 million if a detached home. And in 905 is 1.33 million average detached home. Sami is 1.3 in 416 and 915, 905 area. Townhomes are 945,000 in Toronto, and whereas 905 is 841, and a condo apartment 716,000 in 416, and 603,000 average in 905, which include Mississauga, Brampton. These are just an average price, just to make sure that when we are doing analysis, we go to very specific to location, to the size, community, and everything. So these are just average. So we have a tremendous sale. And detached 5,718 sold. Sammy 1,233 sold. Townhome sold 2,182 and 2,710 condo units. This is 416 and 905 area through Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. Now, average year over year detached home, I'm going to go to generically 20. Detached home 20.5% from last May to this May, and 41.3% from last May to this May 2021 in 905 area. Unbelievable. So the semi-detached 16% increase from last May to this May in 416, and 27.8. So you can see that 905 is growing faster because affordability may be an issue. The people are moving away from the big city 416 area. Townhome 19% increase, 27.7% in 905, and condo unit 6.3% increase from 9 to 9, from 20 to 21 May, and 21.4. So 905 is leading in average price and sale as well. On this side, you can see the sale prices 150%. So this is a little bit reduction from last April sale, because we went almost 365% in detached home or average sale. So that shows a little bit slowness as compared to April. So here is you can see the sale activity from May, 4,594. I really not comparable, but this is what happened in COVID. We were at the prime of the COVID, and imagine we are still in COVID, locked down, a little bit releasing now, 11,951. And then average price, May was 863, and now is a 1.108 million. So prices has not affected, even though there is a potential for slowdown. Here is the total summary year over year. Sale 160% up from last May to this May. New listing 103%. So we have more listing and more sale. And average active listing is about 7% increase, which more remaining. Average price for a house 28.4% from last May to this May. And you can see the listing day on market minus 54%. Used to be 24 days, and now is 11 days. And property day on market 32 days, now is 15 days, minus 31.1%. So this is amazing. Here is a little bit, give you a little bit feedback about the average. If you can look at this 2021, in January, I'm going to move this up a little bit here. In January 2020, we have an average price of $838,087. And January in 2021 was $966,108. So February was $910,068. It was $1,049,000. March was $902,737, and March is $1,097,000. So you can see the gradual increase even within 2021 area. So we have April 820, it went down from 902 to, because COVID was really, lockdown started. So in April we have 1,090,000, and then May we have as 863,563, and we are 1,108,453. So you can see that in January, there's an upward trend in terms of pricing, average pricing from 966, 1,045,000, 1,097,000, 1,090,000, and then now 1,108,000. So you can see that average price has not changed. These are economic indicators, real GDP growth, Q1 5.7%, total employment growth 2021 April 2.2%. Toronto unemployment is 9.5% in April. Inflation is 3.4% CPI growth. And Bank of Canada overnight rate is 0.25%. And prime rate is 2.45. You all know. Mortgage rate varies. These are established rates. Bank offer different rates to each one. I thought I'd share this with you. This is about me and our REIC organization. We have a national office, Edmonton office, British Columbia, Calgary, Toronto, Ottawa, Ream, Quebec, and Nova Scotia. So impact of OFSI rules, we have talked about that before, lockdown Ontario. So I'm going to ask all our members to, so next meeting will be on July 21st at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to ask our members to give us an update, anything you like to share about your area. So we're going to start with Gerald. You.
Thank you, Tahir. Much appreciated. Hello, everybody. Here in Edmonton, the residential market is still quite hot, although our prices aren't anywhere near where yours are at, thank goodness. But things are going pretty steady. The market's moving well. We're seeing large increases in price and volume from pre-COVID. The commercial market is somewhat subdued. The office market is in very difficult times right now. The retail market has taken quite a hit as well, obviously with COVID, and it's a big negative change. Industrial is kind of holding its own. Industrial is doing not too bad of a hit, but it's still a little slower. And the multifamily market, same as the industrial, is taking a bit of a hit. Prices haven't really dropped. Lease rates have dropped noticeably in many of in office, retail, industrial. Purchase prices haven't dropped yet because, you know, the inevitable tug of war between sellers and buyers and who can hang on the longest. So that's kind of what's going on here.
All right. Ms. Roy, do you want to tell us anything happening in terms of property management? What's going on, and where are you located?
Well, I'm located in Ontario, a GTA area. In property management, there's development going on. There is a push for affordable housing rental development. Other than that, it is slow as far as the supply of rental products, mainly because if you're looking at affordable housing, the margins are extremely tight, and feasibility to build multi-unit residential property is very difficult.
Okay.
So that's basically what's happening.
Do you see the demand is rising, or do you have a short supply in terms of industrial?
Demand for multi-unit?
Yes.
There's a great demand for multi-unit. Yes.
So
but
you
the
are
supply is low.
Supply is low. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Barbara.
You know, I have a client right now that I'm trying to, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I have a client at the moment that is looking to buy. They're first-time buyers. And you know, it's so hard for them. They're living in Mississauga and they're looking possibly for a townhouse. and they can't seem to find anything at all in their price range. And you mentioned that the average price for a townhouse thereabouts in that area might be 500,000 or approximately that. Can't find anything at all. So it's very, very hard. And I'm looking at the news and watching those poor people having to live in outside, you know, and simply because they can't afford to pay the rents and they can't afford to even buy a home, a first time home. So our speaker this morning, she touched on all the bases that I am looking at, and she did a good job addressing the situation. So really, what else can we say? We just have to hope that things are going to open up and some changes are going to be made, especially for the first time buyers, the new ones, and the immigrants coming in, like Tahir talked about.
Well,
Is there any way that the immigration can, during their examination, direct these new immigrants to go to different provinces rather than come right here
yeah.
in Ontario and
All
in
right.
Toronto area?
Thank you,
Is
Barbara.
there? Is there?
Yeah, thank you, Barbara. Han, can you open your mic? This is the first time you're joining, so welcome to Realty Coffee Talk and our conference for FRI. Can you tell us anything about yourself, what's going on, where you're located, where you work? Can you tell us?
Sure. My name is Han Zhan. I'm a property manager here at 211 Consumers Road. We actually represent Hanson Canada. It's the actual owner here. Newly into this business, so I'm not too familiar with the whole industry. Not like everyone sitting here probably has been in this for like last 20, 30 years. I'm just into this market for 5, 10 years. Um, uh, Along with working with IT and the facility management side. So, but anyway, I'm here in Toronto, and I have similar kind of experience with the residential housing market because I was looking for a property. Um, I bought one and I sold one too. So, um, as far as the selling market, it's very competitive here in Toronto. Even like the normal, not very popular areas like Scarborough, um, even a little bit further, you're experiencing bidding wars all over the place, and that's well, it's kind of okay for me to see that. But what amazed me here is the experience from my previous tenant, from my previous property, which I sold in May. So we had a really good relationship with this tenant, and we notified them in our intention to sell for about like five months ahead of time. So they were looking for property, and their feedback is even in rental market everywhere is a bidding war, and you're looking at some average of 5 to 10 people that is bidding on a rental property, and he has submitted and been interviewed 3 times before he actually can find a location that actually also is not in the area he's interested. It's further away. So on that front, yes, the housing market, the rental market is very hot, and I think it's not only because of the immigration, but also it's the COVID. Everybody is looking to upgrade because they need more space for for work from home. That's which is the case of my tenant because they only have 2 rooms now. If they need another room to work from home, then they need to upgrade. Yep, that's something I can share. Thank you.
Thank you, Han. Really informative. Fabio, you want to answer questions to Barbara, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, Barbara,
Yes.
you mentioned about could we motivate new immigrants to go to areas where there's low in population, where they're not going to create more of a stress into the housing supply.
Mm-hmm.
There actually is a program to do that. I have friends who have come to Canada from Italy, and they essentially were given an opportunity to go to Edmonton, to go to other to the smaller markets instead of the Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and what else have you. What happens invariably is that now they can work from home, but they gravitated towards the larger cities, and they got a dispensation in order to be able to do that and to move because of what the infrastructure was offering, communications, hospitals, shopping, and one thing and another. It invariably happens like that. People would rather have choices instead of being segregated to one grocery store or to two grocery stores.
Mhm.
That's what's happening.
Mhm.
Insofar, I wanted to address the issue with industrial. I'm a commercial broker. Industrial in our just even in the surrounding GTA is booming. The reason that being is because of all of the internet sales. We have distribution centers and we have new trucking companies that are almost growing every day. Mississauga, we have industrial property in Mississauga, and that's all we're getting. We're getting truckers, we're getting distribution center, we're getting warehousing, because we have both stuff going out of the warehouse, and there's almost a 1/3 recapture rate returns. So you have trucks going back and forth. That is actually helping immigration. No matter what, Canada's population growth is tied into immigration. It always has been. We are a small country in population-wise. We're what, 37, 38 million, Tahir? Something of the kind.
37, 38 million, yeah.
37 million. And I mean, we cannot possibly even think about growth in the 5 to 7 percentile on a yearly basis. So we need people to come to Canada. We need people to help us. And we need people to come here to be consumers, to be producers, and essentially to make Canada to create the base that a large country needs in order to be able to be successful. That happening, the only relief insofar as the residential trend is going to be the supply. We have to increase the supply. We have to find a way to grease that wheel. There's no other solution. It's an economic force of supply and demand. We increase supply, prices will become affordable, and the demand will drop.
Barbara,
Yeah.
I just add that to it that because of affordability issue, you have seen the trend in a presentation that I did to you a few minutes ago. The 905 is showing a growth and more sales. So that means it's economically affordability issue is pushing people move away from GTA 416 area.
Oh, yeah.
That way you see tremendous price increase in going 401 toward Kitchener, Waterloo area, as well as going to Niagara Falls. Almost prices has doubled there in less than 3 years since, particularly in this COVID area, double the prices.
Mhm.
So that is economic thing like supply and demand Fabio mentioned. People can't afford it. They need more space. People living in Toronto 416 area, they need a playground or yard for the kids. So they need to move out. They need open space for kids, park and all that stuff. So it's pushing them because if they're selling their condo unit, they're getting a good price. With the same price, they can buy detached or semi-home outside of 416 area. So that is a natural way of expanding or growing the big city. This is why I raised the point to MP Iqra Khalid that if we have a fast train system, transit system, more people will move away from the city, and the affordability and supply issue could be manageable in that sense. Yes,
She was right in saying everything takes so much time. When I was director in the chamber in Niagara, we spoke to that problem, the transportation leading outside of Toronto to the Niagara region. And they're still working on it, and that's years ago. So it does take a long time for that to materialize. That's the problem.
Allocation of funds, they need to look at the return on investment. They need to develop all the development industries and everything to make sure to justify. Density is the issue, and the more people are pushed toward smaller city around this fast train or logistic is provided, then you will see that growth will happen. And it takes time to do this, and there needs to be a willpower from the leadership to invest and analyze the return on investment, not just to borrow money and increase our debt to our future generation. So Ken, you want to add something to this? Ken?
Yeah, no, it's a good conversation. Like there's definitely there's a lot of work to be done. And, as Barbara just said, it takes such a long time for the government to, plan and implement, and, funding is always a problem. So, it's going to be a continuing problem across the country, but, we just have to get the right people in line to take action.
Mhm.
Okay.
You're right, Ken.
I see Margaret Liu is there. Could you please turn on the video so we can to see you as well? And before we end our program, we're going to ask our REIC President Fabio to tell us what programs happening right now. REIC Toronto Chapter, how we're doing, any activities, anything you have planned for it that you can share with us. Miss Margaret,
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Yes, hi.
can you please
just
turn on your video, please?
It's just that I cannot manage to. It just won't. The video would not work. I don't know.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Anyway, hi. Nice to say hi. Hello to everybody. Yeah, hi. I'm still here. Well,
Hi,
I'm
Margaret.
still working very hard these days. Yeah, still I'm doing mainly commercial in Toronto, and still very hot market, extremely hot market. Even outside Toronto, like GTA, even spread out to like maybe 2 hours from Toronto, still extremely hot market. There's lots of buyers who wants to buy investment properties, and not many people wants to sell. Most of them still want to hold on to the investment properties. Yeah. So it's still a seller's market for the investment properties in Toronto and the area outside Toronto within 2 hours still. Yeah.
Margaret, it's
Yes.
you mean it's a hot looking market?
Very difficult.
We
even
want
for-
We
Yeah.
want hot selling and buying market.
yes. That
Oh,
applies
dear.
to actually all categories like plazas, apartment buildings, industrial buildings. Actually, all properties here is very hot. Extremely hot. I would say, yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
Margaret.
good.
Now, before we
Yep.
close our program, I'm going to ask Fabio to tell us about REIC Toronto Chapter program and activity he would like to share with people. Once the program is finished, I will upload to YouTube, and you can also watch it, realtycoffeetalk.com. I request all of you to like this at realtycoffeetalk.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Therefore, you're able to share, and there are many programs. I think almost 85 episode now, where we share things. So Fabio, anything
Thank you,
about
Tahir, and thank you, Tahir, and thank you for putting this together. It's very good to have this monthly talk. The Real Estate Institute is a leader in a number of ways. I mean, you all are a member, and I'm sure you participated in the recent annual general meeting. Our chapter essentially is trying to communicate with membership, and we do that through education. We do that through social programs and through other programs. We are going to be speaking with people from Ryerson, the School of Real Estate. We're going to be speaking with people from various other companies in a program called Realty Corner. Very much what Tahir is doing now. We have professionals that are getting involved in giving us their view of the market, and they're open to questions, and that way we all grow. That way we all learn. Unfortunately, all of our sessions have been digital. I mean, it has not been possible to sit down in the same room and share views and ideas. However, we are hoping to be able to do that. Christopher Lee, who is the chair of our Education and Events Committee, is planning a couple of events this summer. They're penciled in. Let's see what happens. We would like to get together sometime in July if we can, if we can meet. Those are programs that are unfortunately at the mercy of COVID, the same way as we are. One of the things insofar as professional development is that the Institute keeps on giving these courses that people are getting their CPM, people are becoming FRIs, people are becoming CLOs, and therefore we are educating our realtors. We're educating people in our profession. With that, Tahir, I again thank you for this opportunity. It was great. It was great to have Iqra here. I mean, I really enjoyed hearing that she pretty well has a pull from the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, on behalf
Thank
of
you.
Realty,
Bye.
We are now conducting.
on behalf of Realty Coffee Talk and our conference, Connecting Conference for FRI, I thank you all for participation. I greatly appreciate it. Our next conference will be on July 21st at the same time, and I'll send out notification. Please share your email with me because this is through invite only. Anytime you want to join it, everybody, I think I'm going to change the title to, in a sense that to include all REIC members across Canada. The more we learn from each other, we are the leader in real estate. We should participate and share so we can educate our member, also our consumers. They expect from us to be educated. And then we also create connectivity between us because we can do more business with each other. Knowing each other is very, very important when we make referral. I have just referred somebody in Nova Scotia. So this is why it's very important, the power of connectivity that Realty Coffee Talk has created. And I'm available to all of you at any time to help promote REIC and its designation program. So thank you very much for watching. I take this opportunity to thank our health professional, doctor, nurses, medical staff, paramedic, armed forces, securities for putting their life online to protect all fellow citizens. May God bless you all. May God bless Canada. Thank you very much. See you next conference, FRI conference on July 21st. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.